So I spent a ton of time cleaning up the header panel, rubbing it down with WD-40, making the plastic look good, and discovered I have cracks. The time it takes to do this kind of stuff, that's the thing people don't realize. This is the lower standoff of the headlight mount. And it's this upper mount right here gets adjusted by these top screws with, you know, these worm gears. These are terrible. This is one thing I don't like about the ZJs. These sit in the same position for years. They gain spider webs and other garbage and shit in them, and sit, and then the lead screws with the ball that has to snap on into the headlight mount gets rusty. They don't want to turn. They don't want to snap in and out. They end up breaking the housing. Now this one's not the adjustable. You adjust it by the back here, but usually once they're set, you're adjusting left, right, and up and down by only the two others. So you've got a long one over here. The adjuster is way up here, turning this worm gear through the shaft to turn this one. And this, I have sprayed these things with PB and try to lubricate them, make them look better, get them moving. They'll adjust now. The two on this side and the two on the other side will adjust, but you'll have a teeter-totter in headlight in the wind or hitting bumps and shit if you don't have at least 3 of 4 corners solidly mounted. So I had to put the broken pieces in around this standoff here for the ball for this headlight mount. And I can't sit here and hold things together all day, so what I kind of do is, what you see right here is a head of a tie wrap. Kind of one of my Band-Aid things. I wished I had a plastic welder, but I don't. But anyway, one way I kind of fix seams. Now this is just Gorilla glued, super glued. Drill a hole on each side, and I put tie wraps through it to pull it together and hold it. Now I'll just leave them. I'm not going to clip those out and take them out later. And I had to fix this corner over here. And right at this corner here too, it's broke. You know, from where it mounts to the fender. But the rest of this header panel looks pretty good. But boy, that one's rusty too. I've sprayed all these to get the worm gears and adjusters working for the headlights, but one thing I love about the old cars in the old days, things were metal and made to last. And the shit could work forever. I mean, you look at like the headlight of my 71 GS. Oh, I didn't know I put that bezel back in. But their adjusters are standoff little balls made of metal into a metal shroud that goes around a headlight. They'll work forever. I don't have my El Caminos in right now. I'd show you them either. You know, there's drawbacks to the days they went to doing plastics for certain things. But these are still good years where there's minimal technology in these kind of cars. And like I've stated, my experience with semiconductor industry for 25 years, I just don't like electronics too much in cars. And unfortunately, that's the way the world's heading. But that's also why I personally keep older gas cars. I think the world's going to be screaming for them again one day. But anyway, so to hold it, initially I Gorilla Glue it. And once it's getting tacky and holding in place, I just put JB Weld over it. I used the last of my 2 tubes of that. I have another new set up on the counter there. But what's weird is I saw some smoke coming off of here. I'm like, what the hell? That Gorilla Glue is still a little bit wet. It's still not quite dry. Well, I just added a seam over top of what was drying already too before I put the JB Weld on. And what I'm wondering is there a chemical reaction? Because I don't know this. Is there a chemical imbalance or reaction of those two chemicals, those two glues together? Because it smoked as I stirred it a little bit. Just a little bit of smoke coming off. I'm like, well, that is weird. Hope this thing ain't going to catch fire. But that's, boy, you don't know everything, and that's the whole thing. Don't sleep in bed or have your cell phone laying with you in bed. They've been known to burst fire. Those lithium-ion batteries are volatile. But just another thing I've run into, the time it takes to do these kinds of things too. Just like trying to make this engine bay look this good, takes gobs of hours. And if I ever sell this thing, it's why I'll be asking a lot for it, because there's so many parts new on this thing, as well as what I got from Hippo. But these header panels you can't order anymore. You can't get them new anymore. Your only source is a junkyard, and that's the way, unfortunately, good cars that are in the 20, 30-year-old age start getting, is you have to source stuff from the junkyard.